What the deal, guys? What the deal? We're about to get started in tonight's podcast. Tonight's podcast, guys. You guys ready for it? Should you go through her phone? I think this is going to be a good one. A good one for the books. Assalamu alaikum. What's good, though? About to get started, guys. Just make sure we go live everywhere, so y'all get the full effect. All right, let's get some ones in the chat if y'all ready to get started. Let's throw some ones in the chat if y'all ready to get started on the podcast. Because I'm ready. I don't know if y'all ready. Yeah, Andrew Tate's cool. I ain't got no problem with it. But oh boy. Drop your ones in the chat if you guys ready to get started. Get into this podcast. I need to see some ones. Let me see some ones. Let's see it. About to get started on this podcast. Getting back to the podcast, you heard. All right. Let's get into it. I don't feel like waiting any longer. All right, let's get into tonight's podcast. Let's get the music right. Get the music right and ready. Nice and heavy. You heard? You heard? Damn, what? Damn. I always do this shit. I be ready to start and forget, like, damn, what episode is this? I know this is episode probably do's and don'ts. What the fuck? I'm like, that ain't it. All right, 184. All right, guys, finally back. Podcast number 132. All right, so 133. Let's get it started. All right, podcast number 133. Let's get into it, guys. So tonight we're going to be talking about how should you go through her phone? Now, I think this is a really interesting topic, a very needed topic. I feel like at some point it is a necessary evil. I feel like going through her phone it has its dualities, right? But we got to cover what's necessary to talk about. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight's podcast. If you're familiar with the podcast, then you know how this goes. We play a song and then we get into the topic. So we're going to play this song. This is J.O. and Tory Woods. This is called Left Field. This is not even released yet. I'm just leaking my man's music. But after this, we're going to get right to the podcast. And we're going to cover some topics. This is going to be a really good one. Should you go through her phone or not? I'm going to break it down for you and give you all the answers. And it's going to be a little different than you think. Let's get into it right after this.
Got that sauce in it. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Yeah. Call me out. Look, shorty, she a vibe, she a ting. Fire, something like a vibe, everything. Oh my bad, I'm just stating all the obvious things. We could put the small talk and I could buy you a ring, girl, I'm ready. Shorty on fire, got me gassed up. To the moon, got me feeling like it's NASA. Yeah, she a boss, on God, got a bag up. X-Men was lame, no surprise, he ain't last much. She ain't never had no love like this. But she looking for a love like this. Come and put it on me, give me something I can miss. We can keep between us, everything tight lips. Yeah, we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Do it so good, I ain't thinking about no side piece. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die? Giving so much of yourself, it seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Call me out. Yeah, my back been right. I done seen you looking at me and that ass real right. Tryna give you something good, I'ma make you feel nice. Tryna take you out the hood to a sea first fly. We be dancing on the beach, get the sand on your feet. Wind through your hair, warm in with the breeze. And we straight to my sheets, champagne and Belize. If you want a little pain, I can give it to you easy. Damn, baby, I could give it to you proper. Forget every other man, I want you. Damn, baby, I could do you how you wanna. Damn, baby, I could. And we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Doing it so good, I ain't thinking about no side piece. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die? Giving so much of yourself, it seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Call me out.
All right, guys, that was Left Field by J.O. and Tory Woods. So let's get into tonight's topic. I'm like in the fucking backyard and I hear like a fucking, I don't know what the hell it is. Some type of critter. But anyway, I'm surrounded. I'm like in the firmament. But anyway, let's get into it. So, should you go through a phone? Now, this is a very tough situation. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, so you probably heard the school of thought of Randy, right? One of my good friends. Now, I'll tell you personally, I don't really go through phones. For one, I feel like I'm very intuitive. Not feel, I know I'm very intuitive. And usually when you start to see a woman's behavior change, when you start to see her act a little different, usually there's going to be a correlation inside of her phone. You're going to see what's going on, right? Now, some guys aren't as intuitive and some guys are intuitive, but a lot of guys don't have the confidence in themselves to know that their girl's not doing nothing on their own. There's some guys just have to know. They just want that security of knowing, all right, is she out here doing, is she out here thought, and what is she doing? I need to know. Some guys need that. Me, I know I'm intuitive enough. I'm very analytical. I'm very conscious and I'm very aware of every little thing. Like I pay attention to the small things. So any slight change in behavior, I can analyze it. And plus I give guys advice. I see the same scenarios over and over and over. So for me, I feel as if it's a bit of an exceptional situation and I know what's going on most of the time. Now, some guys still go through the phone. And the only problem with going through the phone, what your mind tends to do, your mind tends to create situations where there might not be anything going on, but your mind might tend to create a situation that might not even be there. It might not even be there. And this is something that women do. Like women have said, "Oh, let me go through your phone." They'll go through your phone and create a situation out of nothing. Like, who's this girl texting you? Oh, why is this girl texting you? I've had clients have this even happened to me. I remember one time one of my exes a while ago, I was dating her and she was like, "Oh, who's this going through your phone?" Da, da, da. That's my aunt. That's my aunt. What girl that I just started talking to is asking about my mother, brother, and sister? I guess maybe that is a possibility, but like if you look at the context of the conversation, women will find something and make a big deal of it. And same thing with men. So if you go through a phone with the intentions of finding something, you are the author of your reality. You will find something. It's like when they say, "Oh, the man who says he's going to fail is usually right, and the man who says he's going to be successful is usually right." Right? But if you find something, you're going to try to find anything. You're going to turn into a situation. It usually turns into an argument, and that usually turns to some type of insecurity. So I feel like when you go through the phone, you have to look at it with a balanced stance if that's something you're going to do. Now, if you go through the phone, it comes with a whole bunch of issues, right? It comes with the issue of, okay, if you go through my phone, I get to go through yours. I don't like anyone going through my phone. And there's been girls that I broke up with who've went through my phone. Right? I don't believe in going through the phone, so I don't go through their phone because if you go through their phone, then you have to keep the same energy with yourself. And not because I'm necessarily hiding anything, it's just like a principle thing, right? And for the longest, I've been single for a very long time. So there's been times I have rotations and girls like, "Oh, let me see you. Get the fuck out of here. You ain't going through my phone." That's just a thing, right? Like that's not what we doing here. And I don't go through their phone. So they understand that we have this understanding that's not about to happen. Us going through phones is not a thing. Now, if we go to the school of thought of Randy. Now, the school of thought of Randy, I agree with. Now, what he does is he'll go through his girls' phones, but like kind of like incognito. He'll do it in a covert manner, meaning he'll go through their phone maybe when they fall asleep. He'll learn their password, and he'll do it in a way where he doesn't come off insecure because he's aware and he understands that if you ask a woman to go through your phone and let me see your phone or what you're doing, you're always asking all these questions and you need reassurance. It's gonna come off insecure. You're gonna come off as needy and all this shit, and it turns a lot of women off sometimes. And with some women, depending on the female, that can ruin a relationship. And then on top of that, when you act needy and super needy and you want to go through her phone and know what she's doing all the time, you create this dynamic. And usually when you put these type of restraints on females, they just want to break away. Especially if you're a good dude and you're just being that's just the way it is. You don't believe me? Go and try it and watch it happen. But what he does is he goes through their phone, right? He goes through their phone, even if they're on good terms, even if he doesn't feel like she's doing anything, he has to know for themselves. Because I've seen it over the years. There are a lot of women that can even cry. I know women that will cry and put up the best front and still be fucking other men, right? So we've all seen it over the years. So he just has to see for himself. So he still goes to their phone, but he does it covertly. Now, obviously, this is really big on contingent. Are you learning her password? Now, learning her password is not a big thing. It might take some time, but you have to be patient. So, maybe when, you're with her and she's driving, or if you're driving you guys in a car, movie theater, just look over. Just get uh, a collection of what her password be, maybe until you eventually figure it out. Now, this is what I had based the course and the PDF course that I did on basically going through her phone, the cheater's guides to iPhones. Now, the cheater guides to iPhones sounds like if you're cheating, here's some hacks, but it's a duality to it. So it's not just for cheaters. It's like, oh, if you're cheating, this is for you. No, it's if you want to catch your girl cheating also, or if you're a girl want to catch your guy cheating. But usually, my audience is a whole bunch of men, so that's usually who we feed into, right? And before we even get into this, I want to say that trust is a big thing, and it's something that's earned. And this is a part of earning trust, right? You can never give somebody 100% trust, and if somebody's gonna mess around, you'll never really know if she's smart, right? But a lot of these iPhone hacks that I'm gonna let you guys know, I'm not gonna teach you how to do them. You gotta go and do it yourself. But a lot of these iPhone hacks, um, a lot of people don't know. So let's get into it. So obviously, if you feel like your girl's creeping, but you don't want to come off insecure and you know that's not a good look, and I suggest you guys don't do that. You know, there are ways on your iPhone to make your phone a listening device. For example, you can you know, put your phone in a room and just have your earpods and just be listening. So if you live with your girl, if you go over your girl's house sometime and like say for example, you leave your phone in a room and you like go to the bathroom or something like that, right? Or you leave your phone in the car and you know she's talking to her friends, you leave it in there and you put your phone, um, put your AirPods on, and next thing you know, what happens? You listening to everything that's going on in the room, right? Now, this is a dark place to be, and I made this via request. I'm not like this. I don't do this um, because I know I have very high standards. And if I could look through a girl's phone and I see the slightest thing off, because certain things are indicators of other things. So if I see her like, oh, talking a little flirty with her coworkers, that's it. I can't. You're done. you know? So I try not to do that because I know I can be very harsh. Now there are settings if you go on your partner's phone, you can make their phone automatically pick up calls. There are features that if you go on her settings, you can make her phone automatically pick up calls. And this is on, the PDF that she just guides to iPhones if you guys go on it, right? Obviously, if her phone's on silent and she's not getting texts every time you with her, and a big indicator, obvious guys, if their phone is always face down, right? And another thing, I know I remember I was talking to a client. He was like, "Oh, well, um, you know, I don't know how to make my phone silent." Like he didn't have a girlfriend. He just had a rotation of girls. He was like, "Oh, I don't know how to make my phone silent, and how do I do that?" So obviously, a lot of people know how to put your phone on vibrate. You can put your phone on vibrate, but you can also put your phone on silent where it doesn't vibrate when you turn your ringer off. Simple little things, and you would think this is like regular like logic, but I'm not going front. I didn't know this at one point either, right? And I've never, and this is why I'm always honest. And the one relationship that I did cheat in, my girlfriend, she had the password to my phone. I never hid anything. I was the one who basically tried to basically tell her. So, it's a different thing. Now, another thing is now, sending automating texts. Now, this is something you can do in your phone, right? There's a feature in your phone where you can send automated texts. Now, I tell this and I put this in a rotation course for guys who are building a rotation. If you want to build a rotation, like obviously, if you're talking to 5 and 6 and 7 girls, that's a lot. You got a lot going on. So, what you want to do is you want to sometimes automate certain text messages. So, this way you can save a lot of time. Like when you wake up or when you receive certain texts, you can program your phone to do this. Now, these are not features that I use because listen, my game is on a different level. I'm 1,000% honest about everything. This is not shit that I have to do. But, and I just feel like I even tried to use the app like with happy birthdays, but I'm just not, it's just too much for me. So I don't really use it. But some of these things are really good. Now, one of the oldest things is finding somebody's locations, right? If um if you want to know like where your girl's been and you feel like she's lying to you or your man or whatever it is, um, you can go to recent locations. But I feel like this is really old. I learned this like back in like 2015 or something like that. Now, there's a feature in your settings where you can just go and you see where their most recent visit significant locations, and you can see where they spend a lot of their time, and it'll even put like the dates that they were there, right? That's a bit much. Like, I just feel I just feel like if you need to do that much, and I feel like some guys they just need to know, but I feel like at that point where you feel like you need to do that, then you'll know. You just wanna bust them. Um, Now this is another one, and a lot of people don't know this. Your pictures have locations on them, right? So A lot of people aren't even aware of this. A lot of people are totally like oblivious to this fact. When you send a picture, right? When you send a picture on your phone, if you save that picture that that person sent you and go in your photos and settings and swipe up, you can see their location, right? So this is I just gave you that one for free, but but whatever. This is in the PDF and the guys and cheaters. Make sure you guys go get it. But that's a crazy one. So like for example, if you're with your partner, if you think your partner's being suspicious, and you're like, all right, send me a picture. Not even trying to be like, oh, I don't believe you. Oh, just send me a picture, babe. What you doing? And she sends you a picture, be like, oh yeah, my mom's house. And you see her locations, and she's out in like fucking, she's in Manhattan, and you live in Queens, right? And it's like, oh, well, that's not where your mom's is at. And not only will you see her location, you know where she's at exactly. So you don't even have to say where you're at. You're lying. You can just pull up, right? So that's another crazy feature that most people don't know. But you got that one for free. I won't do that again. I gotta do that shit by accident. Um, uh, Now, another thing is your iPhone, and these are all for iPhones, right? Another thing that you can do is um, your iPhone can read text messages. Now, this is contingent on having your headphones connected to their phone or your AirPods connected to their phone. And there's features where you can actually have your text messages read out aloud, right? And by the way, guys, if you obviously if you need these settings, if you're going on your partner's phone and like say if the feature is not on, you can just simply turn it on, right? Most people don't check that. Most people don't go in their settings. Oh, let me see if my location is turned on. Let me Most people don't do that shit. I would say maybe even 88 to 90% of people don't check that. Only people that really check that are people that are actually cheating or doing something very highly suspicious, right? Now this one, you can have their text message be read aloud. Now, if they're not connected to headphones and they're not connected to Bluetooth anyway, the text message is going to read aloud. It's going to go to whatever it's connected to, which is your headphones, and you could just read that. You could just hear everything that's being text, and they won't know it because that's something that's going to audio. Now, this is another setting that you can do, guys. Cheaters got to iPhone, so if you're suspicious of your girl, man, I'm telling you. Now, on the new update, another thing that you can do, like you can it's like say if you have a partner that speaks another language, you can actually um you can translate your iPhone will fucking translate text messages. Yeah, even like fuck it doesn't matter. Like yo, like screenshots do wonders. That's all I'm gonna say. Cheaters guide to iPhones, man. Hit the link in the bio. Now, this is another trick. Now, on iPhone, you can see in someone's text messages, and it's a very simple trick. You can see in text messages, oh shit, I rubbed something on my eye. You can see if who they've been texting in chronological order. In chronological order, even if that person's text messages are deleted, their name will come up. So, like, say if you want to see who they've been texting, and they claim they haven't been texting a certain someone, and you're in their iMessage, and you do the little trick, and names come up, and it'll come up and from most recent to least. And then a person name comes up that they said they weren't texting, they're lying to you. They were texting that person, right? I think one of the biggest, and I'm gonna cover this one before the actual podcast in, and I think one of the biggest hacks, one of the biggest perks of the Cheater's Guide to iPhone, is you can make your phone freeze. Now, this is obviously gonna um favor the cheater, right? Or if like you ever with your girl, you guys are talking like, oh, let me see your phone, and you let her see your phone. And even though I told you guys I'm really against that, but if you do ever let her go through your phone, you can freeze certain applications. Now, this is a bit of a process, and I think most people don't know how to do this, but you can freeze certain applications. For example, if somebody goes on your phone, you can program certain applications to just your phone will automatically freeze. Like say for example, if it's Instagram or if it's your text messages or if it's your photo album and you don't want anyone going through there, they will need a specific password. Obviously, they can't have your password, right? But your phone will automatically freeze. It will automatically freeze, right? And I know a lot of people are saying, why go through the trouble of doing all of this? Listen, because accusing somebody can have repercussions, right? And say if somebody's cheating and you accuse them and you don't catch anything, you don't have any evidence, but you know deep down in your heart, or somebody else accused them, they will gaslight you, they will make you feel bad. They will, and it's just like, this is why. And what if they actually just weren't cheating? What if you just have some really high insecurities? So that's why it's good to just really make sure and know and do these things before you actually go and accuse somebody of actually ever cheating. But no, I feel like this one is the major one. And like making your phone freeze. Like I wish I knew about that years ago. Because I would have just been wild doing whatever. But I'm a pretty honest person, and I'm pretty big on just keeping things keeping out in the front side, because I don't want to ever feel like I'm like how I feel about it is, well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not scared of you. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, there are features on your phone where you can literally just make your phone freeze. Um, Cheaters Guide to iPhone, guys. Hit the link in the bio, download the PDF because that shit is crazy. Um, but now another thing is you can see what apps your partners has been downloading. There's another feature for that in settings too. Well, like say for example, I know there was a client that I had, and he was suspicious of his girlfriend, and she was like how she never had any dating apps, she never did anything, but your phone tells on you. And so he went and saw the features and seen that I think she had Hinge and Tinder downloaded. But the thing is, she said that she never downloaded it. So when he went to this specific feature and saw that she had it downloaded, um, she was in trouble. I don't think he actually left her. I think he ended up leaving her eventually, but he didn't leave her right then and there. But this is another way. And the crazy part about this is most people don't even know this feature exists. That's the crazy part. That's the absolute crazy part. And it's like you go through somebody's phone and it's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Now, another thing is you can do now, but this one's contingent. Like if I guess this really favors the cheater, but also, if you're suspicious, people, you can have whole conversations in your notes. Like in your notes, in iPhone, you can have conversations in notes. But that's contingent on, if you're the cheater, the person that you're cheating with has to know. Now, if you're highly suspicious of your partner, that's another place to look. I believe you do need a password, obviously, to access that conversation. I think. I'm not 100% sure how that works. I just know that this was a thing. And but yeah, that's another thing. Um this is another crazy one. The Face ID. Now, usually when somebody's asleep, you want to go through their phone, and the Face ID is like the best way of getting it. But you can enable it where Face ID still works, but with your eyes closed. Now, there's a feature in the settings where you can do that, where you just put the phone in front of their face and it'll just open. It'll just open. And it'd be like boom. Like you don't have to like eyes don't, because usually when you access Face ID, your eyes have to be open and clearly in front. But this this setting, she just got the iPhones, guys. Hit the link in the bio. This will fucking just boom. She sleep, hold that. Or he sleep, boom, hold that. Let me go through this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And I find that a bit crazy. But now uh what was it? How to unsend messages. Now, I know on iOS 16, which isn't out yet, they said that you can unsend messages. Now, you can do that now also, but there's a trick to it. There's a trick to it. You could definitely unsend not unsend messages, but basically stop them from sending. Now, there's a way to do that, but hit the link in the bio and download that if you guys want to get into that. But there's so much more. Those are the few things, and there's so much more on there if you guys want to check that out. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you're gaming your girl, you're gaming your wife good, you don't have to go through their phone, you don't have to do all those things. But I feel like your average person isn't that confident. Your average person doesn't have that much security in themselves to just honestly just believe that they can do it on their own. So I've created this way for you guys, and you can do that, right? But anyway, we're going to end this podcast off, and we're going to play Left Field by J.O. and Tori Woods. And then maybe I'll take a question or two.
Got that sauce in it. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Yeah. Call me out. Look, shorty, she a vibe, she a ting. Fire, something like a vibe, everything. Oh my bad, I'm just thinking all the obvious things. We could put the small talk and I could buy you a ring on the ready. Shorty on fire, got me gassed up. Whoa. To the moon, got me feeling like it's NASA. Yeah, she a boss, on God, got a bag up. X-Men was lame, no surprise, he ain't last much. She ain't never had no love like this. Never. But she looking for a love like this. Come and put it on me, give me something I can miss. We can keep between us, everything tight lips. Yeah, we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me, stop it. Do it so good, I ain't thinking about no stoppies. Have you ever loved someone?